Okay, so I think this mod that we're about to play today is either going to absolutely trigger you to no end and you're going to hate it, or this is probably one of the best things you have ever seen. And it starts off by simply beginning a new campaign. You may think, hey, this looks pretty normal, nothing crazy whatsoever is going on. Well, that is until you zoom all the way out, and as you can see, the entirety of Calradia is a blank. It is a canvas waiting for you as the player to explore. So this is the next creation in Block's mad laboratory. Block is, if you don't know, a modder that really pushes Bannerlord to its limits, and this was a mod that was suggested by his Patreons to go ahead and create, and I'll leave a link to his Patreon and also his YouTube channel where he shows a whole wealth of other interesting mods down below in the description. But yeah, this is basically a new take on the fog of war system that Tailworld's added in recently, where you actually have to go off and explore the world. Every settlement is currently invisible, all the lords are unknown, and this is another really exciting feature right here, something I love to no end, and I feel like this is a very cool thing to actually give you a reason to level up your scouting, a skill that I think is very underutilized in Bannerlord. And that is these question marks right here. You don't know how many soldiers this group of looters does actually have. You'll make your way over to it, and then as you get closer, the more information you'll start to gather from this. And now I know it's, you know, it could be 11, it could be 10, it could be 12, 13, 14, all the way up to 19, but I don't actually know how many soldiers that is going to be. Then as they get closer to me, then I discover exactly how many soldiers are actually a part of this unit. And I think this is such a cool and lovely feature. I love this. I wish it was in pretty much every single strategy game, because I never liked being able to know exactly how many soldiers an enemy army had in Bannerlord, in Total War, and basically any game that resembles army on army combat. I always loved that bit of randomness where you actually have to maybe do a little bit of scouting to find out exactly how many soldiers the enemy have, and even then it can be a bit misconstrued. Something I actually think would be really interesting with this mechanic is to actually make it so that it's not always correct. Make it so that sometimes, depending on your scouting level and the enemy scouting level, maybe it can be inflated or deflated. Maybe it's like an actual like bracket between two numbers, like they could have between 100 and 200 soldiers, and you actually have to, like, you know, improve your scouting skill to actually fully realize how many soldiers they actually have. So that new fog of war mechanic is super cool and something I really vibe with. I love it. It's super cool. And you can also start to see how we are actually having to discover all these new towns, which is actually really nice. I actually kind of, the more I'm playing with it, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm actually liking like the ability to discover these towns, because a lot of the time when you're looking for resources and other stuff, you're like, oh, okay, so where's the closest salt factory to me? You know, it'll be here. Where's the closest hardwood? Well, I actually don't know where I can really get hardwood in Calradia. I mean, I have 1,500 hours in the game. I basically know where every settlement is anyway. But for your average person, if you're looking for a certain resource, it's going to be hard to do. You're going to have to actually explore the world and see exactly, you know, what there is. Again, if you wanted to take this mod even further, like actually like hide these icons on the certain resources and force you to actually go into the town, talk to the headman, the mayor of the town, see exactly what the town produces, what the town needs. I think you could do a lot with this. But yeah, basically you're just going around, you're discovering the armies. So there is also a way as well. So yeah, you're basically just going around discovering settlements so that they go ahead and appear on the map, so you can basically just kind of, you know, find out where certain resources are, find out, you know, where people are coming from, discovering, and it's just like a more extreme take on the fog of war mechanic that Tailworld's added in not so long ago. However, if you really hate this thing of like discovering the towns in the first place and you just want them on the map to begin with because you want to see exactly how, you know, who's conquering what, you know, where armies are coming from, etc., you can also turn this off in the config. It's super easy to do. Block posted a little kind of sentence of how to do it, and it's really simple. I'll put that on your screen right now, and obviously you can find this over on the Nexus page mod if you're interested. But yeah, that's going to basically be the Fog of War mod. It's super cool. I really like it. I like the way that, you know, you are just discovering lands, like you are just a wanderer going out. Maybe starting out with like a base knowledge of the kingdom you're in would be a good idea. But also I love as well, I think this is a feature like I'd probably play without the Fog of War on, just because I already know where every settlement is, so it's kind of a bit counterproductive for me. But also going ahead and discovering is still kind of a cool thing to do. One of the things I really love with the mod, and as I said, you can play just with that if you want to, is these question marks that are kind of roaming around. You don't actually know, as we discover another Imperial city, exactly exactly where all the settlements are, and you actually do have to go ahead and find them out. This would also be a great mod in a lot of fantasy mods as well, where maybe all like different maps where you're not as familiar with the surroundings. I'm sure you guys have seen, you know, Calradia a billion times, so it'd be pretty interesting to go ahead and implement this into a mod that isn't necessarily Calradia, whether it is you know, Realm of Thrones or something along them lines. Could be very cool to kind of start your adventure off and really explore Essos and, you know, the Seven Kingdoms and all of its glory. That could actually be very fun. But yeah, I hope this isn't the end for this mod. It'd be, as I said, be very interesting if Block went in and went ahead and made it and kind of just added more detail to it, like actually made it so that you wouldn't, you know, if your scouting isn't high enough, then you literally won't discover what the enemy army is at all, and it, you know, you're basically relying on this scouting skill right here to actually kind of go ahead and find out exactly what the soldiers have. And it'd also actually be very interesting to have a good scout in your party to go ahead and actually determine that role and actually make that quite useful. But there you go, that's going to be it for today's video. I wanted to go ahead and just show off this mod because, as I said, I think it's a really cool one. I'm definitely going to be implementing this in a lot of my series. It's super easy to turn off some of the systems as well if there, you know, there's certain parts you don't really like. But as I said, I absolutely love this system right here. But yeah, go check out the Block socials as well as his Nexus page down below in the description. Let me know again if there's any mods that are recently released that you want to go ahead and see covered on the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.